Hello everyone and welcome to This Nintendo Life episode 272. My name is Bally and this is where MBZ would normally say something about being ill or often about the weather. But yeah, if you've not noticed, I'm soloing it today. I mean, for this first segment I should say. So MBZ is in Japan. He officially made it. It's that horrendous thing where, okay, so Americans out there. So Americans who listen to the show, when you go to Europe, if you've been to Europe, you're going west to east. Traveling west to east is always tougher for two reasons. One, the jet lag's just tougher. Going east to west, you're basically just staying up late. Whereas when you go west to east, you're kind of reprogramming your whole clock to be like, right, now we're going to go to bed at a different time. And yes, staying up late, I guess, is technically that as well. But going west to east is just completely flipping everything on its head. The second problem with going west to east, and interested if this is the case for a lot of Americans who visit Europe, because I remember all my trips to the States, when you go to the States from the UK or from Europe, you arrive in the afternoon or the evening. You go to your hotel, you go to wherever you're staying, and you can check in. So it's great. Thumbs up. You go to bed, you're jet lagged, you're tired, you go to bed. When you go west to east, you're normally flying overnight and you get to the destination in the morning. So say you get into Europe at, say, 7, 8, 9, 10 a.m. in the morning. Most hotels, B&Bs, wherever, they won't let you into the room until like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 o'clock. So you are left there jet lagged, having maybe got a few hours sleep overnight on the flight. And then you're just crying out for a nap or just something to catch up on, and all of a sudden you now have to wander around this strange city, strange country until you're allowed in your hotel. And this is definitely something that happened to me and Caroline when we went to Japan, where you're flying like 13 hours west to east. You get there, you arrive, and it's like 8 in the morning. You go to the hotel and the hotel's like, no, your room's not ready. But the hotel that me and Caroline stayed at on our second trip to Japan, when we flew to Osaka, you can pay like an extra fee. I think it was like the equivalent of about 35 quid, and they would let us into our room early. And it's like, thank God, this is amazing, let's do it. But I spoke to MBZ. His flight got in at like, I don't know, 8ish in Tokyo time, and I'd warned him about this ahead of time. And he said, oh yeah, Bally, we're staying at an Airbnb on like the first night, so there was no option of like a check-in. So MZ told me he got like 3 hours sleep on the flight, that's okay. That's decent. That's not awful. And then they got in at like 8 a.m. and they then went out exploring in Tokyo without napping or anything, and didn't get into their room until like, I think 3:30, 4 p.m. And I'm just like, bloody hell, like, good effort, MBZ and his family, because that is so like to do all that with that little sleep, and you're, like I said, you're in this new place, Tokyo, whatever, Japan, like it's a big deal. So yeah, hats off to MBZ, because that's a really good effort. But I'm sure he's doing an audio log that will all be out when he's back. So definitely check that out. I'm sure he'll explain what I've just said in far more detail. But yeah, going west to east, it's tougher than going east to west. Definitely. So yeah, what does this show look like? For the first segment, I am going to be talking about the Indie World Showcase. A few things to talk about on that one. And then for the second segment, myself and MBZ actually recorded a segment before he went to Japan. And basically, we make dream Nintendo Switch consoles. So we each draft games to the Nintendo Switch, games that are on the Nintendo Switch, and then we're going to put it out to a public vote who's got the better system. So definitely stay around for the second segment for that one. Right, shall we get to this indie world then? Tell you what, solo podcasting, it's hard. Your brain is thinking a million miles an hour. I've got some notes. I can't say what I'm saying and read the notes at the same time. So then I have to pause to read the notes, and then I have to process, and then I have to say the thing. So, hats off to MBZ for all the solo podcasting he's done. And not even solo podcasting. That's hard enough. Just hosting is hard. Like, knowing what to say next, not having someone to, like, having someone else on the show right now, I could like break, think, process what I'm going to say next, and then boom, here's another thought, and I'll come back in, and then you get this back and forth, and that's kind of what me and MBZ do. And often when he's talking, I'm processing. When I'm talking, he's processing. But solo, you don't have that time and space. And for all you listeners at home, I'm probably going to edit all the blanks out of this segment so that I actually have time to think. So I probably will end up cheating, but fingers crossed. We'll see how we do. Let's get to this indie world. What did I think of the indie world? Well, shall we get to the elephant in the room first of all? There was so much smoke. I guess it is smoke and fire a bit with Hollow Knight Silksong, but there was so much smoke about something Silksong happening, and there still is. At the time of recording, I'm recording this on Saturday. This episode is going to come out on Monday. Not heard anything more on Silksong at this time of recording, and I don't know. It's getting age ratings around the world. Silksong, I should say. It's feels like it's soon. I believe it's been revealed in a Nintendo there's been debate about this. I believe it was just dropped as like a trailer on Nintendo's YouTube channel a long time. This is like back in like 2019 when, bear in mind, 2019, I think in the E3 window then, or was it E3? I think either way, it was like the Treehouse couch they do where they play through games. There was like a 25-minute showcase of Hollow Knight Silksong 5 years ago. I think at that point in time, it was going to be a new game, not DLC. I could be wrong on that one. I don't know when it switched from DLC to a full game. But there was definitely like a big Nintendo presentation way back then about it. And I'm not sure it's appeared in anything Nintendo since. And then last summer, I believe it appeared in the Xbox showcase. What did Xbox call them? Xbox ID? I want to say ID. What's ID for? What is Xbox and ID? I don't know why those two letters are springing to mind, but it was shown in the Xbox showcase back in summer 2023, I want to say. And then they said, "Oh, these games are coming out in the next." Was it like the next financial year? I don't think they'd promote something saying financial year, but I think they just said like the next period or something weird. So it felt like Silksong had a big Xbox connection. I think it is going to be Day 1 Game Pass. I don't know if that's confirmed. I think everything in that showcase was going to be Day 1 Game Pass, so maybe it was linked to that. Anyway, all this stuff has been dropping recently. There's rumors swirling, and then just as the rumors were all swirling, Nintendo were like, hey, we're going to do an Indie World showcase. And the internet melts down, says, Silksong is going to be at the Indie World Showcase. Now, if you listened to this show before, you know that myself and MBZ have been pretty in agreement on the opinion or the viewpoint, and have been for quite a long time now, that Silksong is above the stratosphere of not even most indie games, most Nintendo games, most games on the Nintendo, most top tier games on the Nintendo Switch, full stop. Silksong is like above those. So, I am surprised that anyone would consider it to be part of the indie world. Now, hands up, I definitely thought with the rumors swirling and the timing of the Indie World Showcase, I thought there was a chance. I definitely thought there was a chance. I definitely leaned towards it not appearing, and sure enough, for those who've seen the Indie World, it didn't appear. When will it appear? Who knows? Did it weaken the indie world as a result? Not really, because I think people with those expectations are just mad to think that a game as big as Hollow Knight Silksong coming to Nintendo Switch, appearing in an indie world, it just doesn't sit well. It doesn't work because, I don't know, the tone is just completely different. Like the tone of indie world feels very laid back, very, hey, let's have a little bit. It feels almost like a very casual snacking buffet kind of vibe. I don't know if that makes sense, but like, you're just kind of like, oh yeah, here's a little bit of this, and this is dropping today. Oh, I might grab a bit of that, and here's a demo for that. Oh, and this game's coming later this year. That looks cool. Oh, and then there's another game like that. Oh, that's cool. And it just everything feels on a certain level, a very good level. I think there's a level of quality that these indie worlds reach that I really appreciate, and I do think this was a pretty strong indie world. It was a great balance of, here's a game coming out next month. Oh, for most of the games coming out next month, here's a demo you can try, and here's a couple of even hotter games that are coming later in the year. And I think it was all 2024 based as well. It wasn't like, here's this crazy big thing and it's coming out God knows when. Because, I mean, so many Nintendo Directs are guilty of that, obviously. Like, things get kicked into the long grass and you don't hear about. Look at Metroid Prime 4. Metroid Prime 4 is a bad example. That's a very unique situation that I don't think Nintendo want to get into that problem, get into that sushi again. So maybe that's a bad example. But yeah, I think that there is a bit more short-termism about the indie worlds that I appreciate, and I think this was a solid one. There was definitely more cats in this one. I'm not a cat person. I'm allergic. But there's definitely more cats in this one than there was farming sims. And I guess farming sims have become less indie world and more mainline direct. I don't know, but very cat heavy, this one. I thought it was pretty strong. I thought it was decent. Why don't we get to the list of games and run through them all? So, going to my list. Little Kitty Big City, coming 9th of May. Kind of looks like is it called Little Goose? I'm going to call it Little Goose Game. Untitled Goose Game, but for cats. Yeah, not my cup of tea. I imagine I'd be surprised if it had anywhere near the level of polish of a game like Untitled Goose Game, because that was a really high bar of like puzzles and interesting things to do in a world and explore and, you know, tasks on a list and that kind of thing. Let's go Yars Rising. Okay, hands up. I'm really guilty with Metroidvanias where, unless this is my Nintendo bias, but unless you're Metroid Dread, I think it's really frustrating when you can clearly see level design. And what I mean by level design, that's a bad phrase. What I mean is when you can see the tiling, when you can see the blocks, when it looks like Mario Maker with a different skin. And what I mean is you can see like the blocks in Yars Rising. Like it's very square, very rectangular. You can see how the game is made. I like it when edges are invisible or non-existent. Look at like Ori and Will of the Wisps. Hollow Knight. Like loads of other Metroidvanias, they're a lot more smooth in their level design. It looks like a much more living, breathing world. Now, it's harder when it's like space themed, like Yars Rising, like Metroid Dread, and I think it's too easy to fall into, we'll go for the cyber metallic blocks that you would kind of see in those styles of games, and that's very much part of this game. Like Yars Rising, it's very, very blocky, very this, but I personally find it just a little bit jarring, and I like to think it is possible to do Space Station without it still being blocky. Not that I can think of an example off the top of my head, but I surely it's possible. I think Metroidvania wise it looks fine. I don't think this one had a demo to try. I could be wrong, and this game is kind of got that general 2024 window, so I don't know, it's the kind of game I want to see reviews. I'm interested. It's also the kind of game that, because it's a Metroidvania, MBZ will definitely play it. We'll see. I'll hold off on it. Refined Self, the personality test game, coming summer 2024. This was weird. What, like, it's got a cool art style. It kind of reminded me of I can't even remember the name of the game. You see, I've not got MBZ yet. This is where my memory really looks bad. What was the game that was like horror themed? Not Inside. It was Inmost. So this kind of has that pixel art style, a bit like that game. And that looks cool. I'm just very confused as to why the whole personality trait thing. I don't know who. I think that will appeal to a group. I'm not the group, but it's kind of interesting game. Sticky Business. This game kind of, I don't know. I think they admit it was like, it started as like some sort of tool, and they just said, actually now we turned it into a game. And so it's described as like a relaxing 2D game developed by Spellgarden Games. Players will create stickers, pack orders, and listen to the stories of customers. So I guess you're kind of, are you having to make like sticker packs on request? And then I don't know, it's very designy and collectathon, and it's got a nice art style. It's, again, not really my kind of game, but I'm sure that speaks. It's like the cozy, we're going to make stickers and it's cutesy and Animal Crossing style audience, who's not really me, but a game that is a bit more me. Anton Blast. Oh boy. This game is fire. This is really impressive stuff. So I never played Pizza Tower. I don't think it's come to anything other than PC. It came out at the start of last year. Kind of went under the radar. It's a great example of a game that's incredibly hot on PC, but because all the circles I listen to are so console focused, there's a lot of great indie games that come to PC first that just kind of go under the radar on other platforms. So Pizza Tower was kind of one of those games. I don't believe it's on other platforms yet. Hopefully it'll be on Switch soon. Hopefully it doesn't clash too much with this game, because this game's got a lot of Pizza Tower vibes, a lot of Wario Land vibes. Anton Blast, 2D platformer, just manic. I think this description, it's an explosive, action-packed retro platformer. I think that's just a great description. Like, it is action-packed, genuinely. Like, I feel Wario Land is bombastic in itself, but what if you turned that up to 11? Now, Pizza Tower already does that. I assume. Not that I've played it, I've just kind of seen a bit of gameplay. Does this game look more mad than Pizza Tower? Maybe, but in a different way. Like, I do think it's not fair to compare them that closely, because I think the art styles are quite different, even though mechanically they're doing quite similar things. And the cool thing about Anton Blast is it had a demo, and I played the demo. There's 2 levels in the demo, and the first level was pretty straightforward, and then the second level kicked my ass. It's one of those games where, like Wario Land, you're not just going left to right 2D platformer. Yes, you're doing a bit of that, but you have to unlock them. There's like 4 suits. So you got your diamonds, clubs, hearts, and spades, and there's like buttons for each suit, and you have to hit the 4 buttons at different points in the level. And it's that kind of level design where it kind of guides you in a weird roundabout back to forth kind of way, and then eventually you go past the 4 buttons, you press them all, and then there's like a timer that starts and you have to escape the level. That's like the classic thing of the Wario Land games. So that's what you do in Anton Blast, and it's how do I describe this? You know, when we talk about like accessibility in video games and how like fonts need to be a certain way, level design needs to be a certain way, like to be clear for those who might not be able to see quite as well, and these kinds of things. Like, I struggle how games like Anton Blast meet that reality, because as someone who's got great vision and this sort of thing, I still found it just very overwhelming and very intense, and sometimes just a bit. It's just like kind of made me a bit sick, just like to look at it all. Like, it is just that intense. And that's totally what the game's going for. So maybe this is a very unfair criticism, but at points it's like, oh, I wish this was just as toned down as like Wario Land Shake Dimension or Wario Land 4, where yes, it's mad, it's crazy, it's got the great art style, but it doesn't need to be quite this assault on my eyes that it kind of is. But that's kind of what I feel like, that's a unique part of the game. So it feels like a very unfair criticism. But yeah, there's aspects of the game where you're like running in the foreground, you're running in the background, and it's really fun. There's some challenging platforming in there. There are parts where it's like, right, here's this very specific platforming challenge, and you have to get through it. And similar to Wario Land, it kind of does that thing where, and if you fall down, we'll recycle you down this chute and out the back, and you'll come back around, and without losing a life, you'll go again. You still have lives, that's the thing. So it is tough where you're doing a tough platforming challenge, you die, and then you go back to the start. And it's not the start level, there are checkpoints. I just think there's a lot of challenge between the checkpoints that a game like Celeste, you're doing one challenge checkpoint. So every time you die, you're going straight back to do that one challenge again. This game doesn't have that. Like, you are doing multiple tough platforming challenge. I'm only talking about the second level here, by the way, in the demo, where it's a much tougher level. I wonder how far through the game that second level is, because if it's the second level, I don't want to buy this game. It's way too difficult. But if it's like kind of the final third of the game style difficulty, then I think I can manage it. But it's a tough game. But my point is, the checkpointing could be slicker. It's never a fun feeling when you do multiple challenging things, die, go back to the checkpoint and you have to do the multiple challenging things again. You ideally want to die. You want to die on the challenge you're on. If you die, you go back to a checkpoint just before that challenge. It feels retro in a way that I've almost become allergic to. And I think MBZ's similar in this case. Depends on the game, depends on the genre, but for like 2D platformers, you kind of either want the game to be easy enough where you breeze through it, or it's challenging, but it's very generous with its checkpoints, like a Meat Boy, like a Celeste. And yeah, I'm nervous that I'd buy this game and get very frustrated on certain levels. So it's really cool. I think the platforming is really good. I think it's got like this, the enemy in the game I think is like Satan, and I'll be honest, I can't really remember what we're doing in relation to Satan, but there's something going on. The platforming feels very good. It's got like this very fast-paced, good feeling jump. It's got this shoulder charge like Wario has. You've got like the jump, you've got like this ground pound on the spot. It's got those abilities a bit like Wario Land, where you have to use that ability to get through part of the level. If you hit like an obstacle, it'll kind of reset you, this kind of thing. But yeah, I'm just concerned about the checkpointing. It's not this kind of thing that between now and release, because I think they even gave a release date as like, November the 12th, a very specific release date considering it's kind of a while away. But yeah, I don't believe the checkpointing is something that will change between now and release. I could be wrong, but that's my one concern. I do think this is just could be a bit too brutal in a not so fun way. Oh, and then this mentions it's also 60 FPS, and I definitely felt that playing it on Switch. Like it was a blast. Like Anton Blast. It's cool. I really want to see what reviewers think of this, and hopefully it can make more waves than Pizza Tower by launching on Switch. MBZ was saying like this game has been around for years and years. Like it's been in this like kind of development cycle for ages. So interesting to see it finally kind of revealed and to come out. Valley Peaks. This was like the weird, I don't even know how to describe this game. How does it describe it? This riveting first-person climbing platformer. Yeah, okay, first-person climbing platformer. Each mountain is like a puzzle, and it's your job to make your way to the top of every ridge to place radio towers for the froggy inhabitants of Valley Peaks. I like the vibes. I like the vibes more than the art style, if that makes sense. Often the two are very interlinked, but there's something about the vibes that's very a short hike that I just love about this game. But the art style just kind of jars with me slightly. But looking at like, it's cool how there's like a bit of hang gliding, there's boat racing. It's a nice variety and like game modes. So I'm interested to see how that one does. And that's got a 2024 vague release date. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. This is just not my cup of tea. It's is it point and click adventure game style? It's just the art style just doesn't jive with me. It's weird. I'm gonna keep going. Let's go on to Europa. So this was another game that had a demo, and it's a demo I played. It was like a 20-minute, half-hour demo, and seeing the trailer in the indie world, I got pretty excited for what this game could be. I thought it was going to be the Pathless. Like you got these open world, and you kind of have different points in the open world where you kind of do puzzle platforming, and you kind of progress, and then maybe move on to like a new open world. The game is a lot less open world than the trailer, I think, suggests. It's very open zone. And what's the difference between the zone and the world? If you've played the Pathless, I'd argue that game is not open zone. It's got basically 5 mini open worlds, because each zone, as it were, each world is much, much bigger. This game, each area is much smaller. Like it takes a few minutes just to get through it, and it was kind of like the method of platforming, and kind of you got flying and gliding, and the way they come together, and it just doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like the Pathless has such a specific, you will gain altitude through this button, and you will run and glide and shoot, and there's this kinetic nature that you just feel like a lot more time and energy and thought has been put into how that movement platforming system comes together. Europa feels a lot more wishy-washy. It feels like the focus was a lot on the art style, the world, The story, I don't know. I didn't love the story from the demo, at least, and I don't know. It wasn't coming together in a way that felt enjoyable and meaningful. It felt very like we've missed a beat here. There's something missing. Like it just does not feel right. And so yeah, you run around to gain altitude. You have a jump. You can walk into these orbs, these bubbles, and they will charge up like this little bag, vase that you have on your back. I don't know, is it a bag or a vase? I don't know. And it fills up, and then that meter on your back is essentially like how far you can, a bit like the Pathless, I guess, how far you can like jump vertically into the sky, like start your flight, and then you've got a vague guide. It's a very wishy-washy feeling guide, and then glide, I should say. And as you're gliding, you can then run into more bubbles, and the bubbles will recharge your vase again, and then you can go even higher. And sounds good in practice. It does not. That sounds good in theory. Does not feel good in practice, I should say. It's not. It's one of these things where I'm trying to explain a kinetic feeling that you have through gameplay in words, and you'd think that after 10 years of podcasting I'd be better at this, but it's actually really difficult to articulate. So I'll just say it just does not feel good. I also think the art style, I thought when I started the demo, oh, this is cool. It feels a bit jarring, but I wonder if it will grow on me. And I don't know. It's just one of those things where, a bit like the Pathless. I played the Pathless on PS5 at 60 frames per second. Looked fantastic. I think the second you're into this kind of third-person open world style game, the more P's, the more frame rate, the more juice you can put into that experience, the better. That sounds really harsh on this game, but like we gotta get to that Nintendo Switch 2. We gotta move on from this, because we cannot just keep pretending that these open world third person games run the best. And there are exceptions. I think Zelda Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom are probably exceptions where Nintendo have just really finessed and nailed how to get a smooth 30. Now, Tears of the Kingdom isn't always smooth because you're doing an insane amount of stuff in that game. I won't say it's always smooth, but it damn well holds up in a great way. This game, Europa, like the demo just didn't look good, didn't feel good. And yeah, the puzzle platforming in the demo was nowhere near the level of what the puzzle platforming looked like in the trailer. Like it felt like they were kind of, not Mario Galaxy, that's maybe a bit generous, but there was some cool puzzles and platforming and the way that you kind of manipulate the world around you in the trailer. But none of those were in the kind of, I guess it was the first half hour of the game, I guess. And yeah, none of them were in there. So I don't know. I wasn't convinced enough by the base mechanics. So it's definitely not one I'm thinking about picking up. So a little bit of a disappointment. TMNT Splintered Fate, July 2024. Yeah, this is like a roguelike, isn't it? Am I missing something? Yeah, roguelike action. I think this is the future of, not the future, this is the next wave of this genre, I feel, is the co-op roguelike. I was saying this to MBZ, and there was like that indie showcase, not Nintendo, it was like called Triple I or something. It's like a bunch of different indies that came together to show off games, and there was a bunch of like co-op roguelikes in that game, including like Undermine 2. You've got like Immortals, what's it called? Immortals 32 Immortals? Is it 32 Immortals? Anyway, it's a game from the team behind Spiritfarer. So that's like this. Co-op is generous for that number of people. It's more like, I don't know, mass online multiplayer, I guess. But my point is, there are lots of kind of roguelike co-ops coming, and it's something I really want to try with MBZ. Is like, we are going to get this co-op game, and it's a roguelike, obviously. So we're going to play round after round, and, you know, it's a great format for multiplayer. It's just like the strife, building up, the failure, doing it again. Like, that's a fun experience to do with someone. Like, I think of playing Contra games with MBZ like that. Was it a roguelike? I guess it is roguelike in some sense, but yeah, it's doing something challenging together, failing, and doing it again. Like, it's just a great format. Will TMNT Splintered Fate be the co-op roguelike that me and MBZ try first? I really doubt it. We're not really TMNT people. So it probably won't be that one. We'll see what gets good reviews in and around this genre, and maybe it'll be something like Undermine 2, maybe it'll be something else, maybe something like Hades 2 ends up having some sort of co-op mode. I could totally see something like that happening. So I think it's a really interesting time in the roguelike space, because I'm confident that roguelike co-ops are going to just take off like wildfire. This is my theory, by the way. I've not run this by MBZ, but we'll see. I don't think this game TMNT was doing anything for me personally, but yeah, I just wanted to have that rant about co-op roguelikes. More cats. Try to say that fast. Cat Quest 3. Cat Quest 3. 8th of August. I've not played the other two Cat Quest games. This is the tough part of cat games. Do the people who don't like cats like the game? That's my barometer. And a game like Stray, I wasn't convinced there were many people who don't like cats who loved that game. Call me out if I'm wrong. There are certain types of games, certain cat games where you just think, okay, but say you don't like cats, is the game actually good? And I think that with Stray, most people who like that game are big cat fans, and I don't know. I never tried Stray. I don't want to judge it until I've tried it, but I wasn't convinced. Cat Quest 3, are there people who like this game who don't like cats? I don't know. I'm not fully convinced. I don't know what I can't say the name. I don't know what Cat Quest 3 is doing differently to the first two games. I don't know. I just don't know. If you like Cat Quest, do write in. I want your opinions, because I'm just not convinced by the whole thing. Stitch Shadow Drop is out today, or as it were, 17th of April. Stitch is a casual puzzle game with embroidery on a numbered grid. Yeah, it just kind of looked like what's the game I'm trying to think of? Picross. Is that the right game I'm thinking? Yeah, it just kind of looked like, not necessarily Picross, but like almost looked like a combination of Picross and Pool Blocks or something. Like it's just like, we got this system. It's very pretty. Like the style of the embroidery just looks really nice. And then you are kind of matching up numbers and filling in spaces. And then the camera zooms out. Oh, you've revealed, I don't know, I made a plushie of a penguin or something. And, I think the Switch is a great platform for games like this. I'm not often into games like this, but I think, again, it's cute. It's cozy. And yeah, I think that's the kind of stock game. Stock game's a harsh word. It's the kind of solid game that make up a lot of these indie worlds that I think are really good and appeal to an audience, and would definitely not be appropriate for, say, a full-on Nintendo Direct. So yeah, I think that's a good one. BZZZT, coming out summer 2024. Struggling to remember this one. It's kind of looking like a little bit. It's like a 2D platformer. Yeah, looks cute. Looks cool. Okay. Begin your journey through a beautiful pixel art world inspired by games iconic to the platformer genre. Okay, yeah. Follow a surprising story, upgrade your skills, beat challenging levels, and compete with other players for the fastest speedrun. Okay, when platformers is like, now it has to be, it's all about speedruns. I'm like, okay, just let's make a fantastic 2D platformer first, and let's just let the speedrun community do their thing. By all means, put in stuff in the game to help, like monitor speedruns and timers if you want that or something. I don't know, but I don't know, when speedrun becomes such an intrinsic part of the marketing, I'm just a bit like, it's kind of like, it feels like the snake eating its own tail at points. It's like, let's keep speedrunning out of the marketing, and let's just make a solid 2D platform. That's the number one thing. SCHiM. Yeah, I feel like I've seen this one before somewhere. You're the little dude jumping between shadows, and the art style's very cool. It's one of those things where, what's a game I'd put in this category? Maquette. Yeah, so a game like Maquette, I think the idea was fantastic. You are like small, you pick up a key, the key is now big, you move the key, it's all about perspective. The idea is amazing, but the execution just was lacking in so many ways. And a game like this, SCHiM, the idea is fantastic. Like, let's jump between shadows. Let's utilize worlds in a unique way. If the gameplay holds up, it's the kind of game that it's fire. It's awesome. But the gameplay has to hold up. I sometimes think, I don't want to sound too harsh here. I think artists or people with great ideas aren't always the best developers. Like, I think there's a natural, there are mechanisms and mechanics in video games that just have to have good game feel, and good game feel is a very different thing to having a great overall idea. So you've got like overall mechanics. The overall mechanic is there's the shadow dude jumping between shadows. Awesome, great idea, works. But then you've got the aspect of, how do we make this fun? How do we make this about game feel? Does the actual process of jumping between the shadows feel good? Because if one of the two parts falls flat, the whole game falls flat. Like, yes, you can have like a pretty looking game for a trailer with the top level mechanic, but if the fundamental mechanics don't hold up, it's just not going to work, you know. Like, this is why MBZ has to playtest so many games, you know. He needs to know the feel if they're going to think about publishing something. Like, it's so important. So yeah, I'm really interested in reviews for SCHiM. Yeah, July 18th, so that's pretty soon. Very interesting. Animal Well. This game looks cool. I think it is a roguelike, isn't it? It oozes creativity and weird things, and I just kind of want to see what reviews are, but I'd like to just kind of experience it and just not. It's the kind of game I feel like the less you know about it, the better. What does it say? Encounter lively creatures, small and large, helpful and ominous, as you discover unconventional upgrades and unravel the well's secrets. This is truly a unique experience that can make you laugh in fear, surprise, or delight. Wow, what journey that sentence was. Yeah, I think that description is suggesting what I thought, which is like, the less you know about this game, the better. It just kind of, just going further into a well, discovering different animals, how you interact with them. I'm intrigued by this game. I think Nintendo have supported it quite a lot. I feel like it's appeared a couple of times in different Nintendo things, and I'm really interested in that game. The 9th of May, that is very soon, so we'll see what that's all about. Duck Detective: The Secret Salami. I don't know what to say about this. Yeah, solving crime is no walk in the pond. You are a down on his luck detective who also happens to be a duck. Use your powers of deduction, to inspect evidence, fill in the blanks, and bust the case wide open in a narrative mystery adventure where nothing is quite as it seems. God, the people who write these things are kind of impressive. I should ask MBZ who writes those, and is it the publisher, the dev, or who does that? Yeah, it's not my genre. Looks interesting. We'll see what it's like. Another Crab's Adventure. Is this the one that's like a roguelike? In the vibrant undersea kingdom on the verge of collapse, a hermit crab embarks on a treasure hunt to buy back his repossessed shell. The second game from Aggro Crab. I'm interested in like what this game is about, less so actually playing it. I don't know. I mean, that game's out 25th of April. That's like in 5 days' time. I think this is cross-platform as well. I've seen it advertised elsewhere. I don't know enough about this game. I don't have strong opinions. I think I'll move on to the final game, because they did the thing where it looked like they were going to finish on a montage. And God, I hate it when they finish on the montage. They've done that a couple of times, and I just think it's such a damp squib of an ending to just... And now here's a bunch of games that you kind of already know about, maybe barring one, but we're going to mosh them all together into a montage, and bada bing, bada boom, that's the end of the showcase. And then they always go, and not always, but I'm saying sometimes they go, oh, and there's one more thing. And this is where the Silk Song fans, and I am still a Hollow Knight fan. I'm still very excited about Silk Song. So a part of me was still like, oh, no, it's not Silk Song, but it is SteamWorld Heist 2. The first SteamWorld Heist, so it came out on like the 3DS way back when. MBZ was a big fan. I never got around to it. I've played like every other SteamWorld game apart from Build. I think I've played, what are the ones I've played? I've seen SteamWorld Dig 1, SteamWorld Dig 2, SteamWorld Dig Quest. I guess I've only played 3. Anyway, I never played Heist 1. It's kind of like a 2D codename Steam in some ways. It's that kind of like strategic Worms style tactical, what do you call it? Tactical combat? I guess it's tactical combat, yeah. Yeah, this looks cool. Like, it's a kind of game that is peak indie world. It's peak, like, this is kind of the creme de la creme of indie worlds are the SteamWorld games. Like, they've always had a great relationship with Nintendo, and to get this like reveal at the end of this game, and this comes out around the corner, like 8th of August is not that far away, like obviously this year. Like, I think this is the kind of game that makes you go, wow, yeah, these indie worlds have an incredibly valuable place in the media commentariat, and SteamWorld Heist 2 looks really cool. Like, I think the first game was very much themed in space. This one seems a lot more pirate, open ocean kind of thing, submarines going on. I think there's like a lot of like actual gameplay on boats and ships and that kind of thing, which looks fun. So, you know, I like the style. Like the janky nature of the animation works with the whole everyone's a robot kind of thing. So I appreciate that. And yeah, it's cool. It's the kind of game I'm surprised they weren't like, hey, we could have been one of the hottest indies of, say, the start of the Switch 2. But they're like, no, we're going to come out now. We're going to come out end of the Switch 1 life cycle. And, you know, I respect that. I think this year is definitely quieter for Nintendo. I heard someone who was online saying, like, Nintendo and PlayStation, who's got the quieter year? And both of them just have insanely quiet years, while Xbox has, like, Hellblade 2 and Indiana Jones and there was something else. Anyway, I can't remember. But anyway, my point is Nintendo having a very quiet year. And in a quiet year, I think a game like SteamWorld Heist 2 is a great game to come out. MBZ will definitely play this one, I imagine. I will, if I can fit this in, I would like to play this. I think this is the kind of game I would really enjoy. I've just not got around to trying it. But, you know, I think it was a solid ending to the indie world. And yeah, like I said, there's a handful of games in there. I think my highlights are probably SteamWorld Quest, I should say SteamWorld Heist 2, Animal Well, which we already knew about, but I'm interested in that game. SCHiM is interesting. I really want to know how it feels. And then obviously like Anton Blast, I think, is probably the next hotness I'm interested in. I was interested in Europa, but wow, did that demo not inspire me in the slightest. And yeah, Valley Peaks, I kind of want to see what that's about. But yeah, like, for me to be able to say 5-6 games that I'm kind of keen on playing is a great result for an indie showcase in my view. And yeah, I think they did another great job. And yeah, it's nice that all those games are going to come out this year. So I think that kind of wraps up my thoughts on the Indie World Showcase. But like I said, we've got a nice segment coming up all about our dream Switch consoles, and we draft games into those consoles, and then you're all going to vote on those consoles. And remember, you've got to vote for me. But yeah, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back for the second segment after this.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. It's time, Valley, to do a thing that, you know, this podcast is known for anything. It's known for stealing ideas. It's pretty core to the identity of this show. You know, here's the thing they say about artists, like, great artists steal, right? Like, that's just how it works.
Is that what they say?
And Yeah, that is a phrase. Like, go look it up. That is a real phrase.
The phrase is "great artists steal."
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Okay.
It's along those lines. You can Google it. I'm pretty sure that's real. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like part of the identity of our show is our patchwork of influences from things that we listen to. So I listen to a show called the Backpage Podcast. It's a very good show. I highly recommend it. It's with Samuel Roberts and Matthew Castle, the latter of whom I know of from years of reading Nintendo magazines, official Nintendo magazine, as well as listening to podcasts that O&M did back in the day, and has been a big Nintendo head for a while, but now works I think still in games media, but they both do a show that kind of calls back to the magazine days in a way. They talk about like magazine stuff, get lots of guests on from that era, but also they do a bunch of different formats for their show. So one of them is like best games of X year. So they go back and talk about the history of like 2003 and then give a top 10 from 2003. Like it's a fun show with lots of different formats. But one of the formats they do is a console draft, which is basically the idea where they choose a console, so let's say, I don't know, the PS2, and they will have different categories for that console, and then they go back and forth choosing games to fill those categories to basically create a quote-unquote mini console, I guess. And it's always a fun listen to get to hear like their interesting picks, and then they give it to their audience afterwards, and that audience decides which is the best console, which is the one that they would prefer to have. So yeah, I think it's a fun little exercise and a good way to kind of get some interesting looks at, how are we going to play this? Are we going to go for our personal taste? Are we going to go for things we think the audience are going to like? It's about, baiting the audience versus what are we going to pick for our own console? So yeah, it's a fun little thing. And we're going to basically do a similar thing, but slightly different. So, Bally, do you want to talk about what we're doing?
Oh, geez, how was ours different? That's what I don't even know.
Okay, so I mean, the main difference is we're going to do two picks per category. So the idea is we are going to do the Nintendo Switch, which I think at this point we're like at the end of the life cycle. I feel like we have everything we possibly can to look over in terms of the catalog of this console and what it has given us over the years.
Hey, we don't have Metroid Prime 4.
That's true. It's very true. If we had a future pick category, then maybe we could throw that in there. But unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be many future picks to come. So there's definitely, there'll be some things that we won't be able to hit because we are in the time period we exist in, but there's most stuff out there, which is good. And yeah, the idea is we're going to basically go back and forth. Every round you get to choose what category you want to pick a game for, and the idea is when a game is taken, it's off the table. So one person can take it, the other person cannot take it. So we're trying to build it in a way where I'm like, okay, well, if I really want to take a game that I think Bally's going to take, I should go for that category first before he does. And that's the idea, basically. It's about sniping. It's about just being tactical.
We've got 10 categories, 2 games each per category. So we'll have 20 games each in our Switch roster.
Exactly, at the end, and then at the end we'll tweet out these 2 consoles, and you, the audience, can decide which one you think is better, basically. And yeah, pretty low stakes. There's no, I don't know if there's no reward here except for pride, really, at the end of the day. So yeah, that's what it's going to be. So, Bally, do you want to read down the categories that we have?
Sure. So the categories are RPG, Metroidvania, platformer, puzzle, narrative-driven games, remake/remasters, ports, action adventure, roguelike, multiplayer games, and then there's a free pick.
Yeah, so free pick just lets you do what you want. If you feel like there's a thing that doesn't fit into any of these categories, you can grab something and throw that in there.
I can already tell you're going to be so strict on categories. You're going to be like, Bally.
I'm actually not that strict. I'm actually not going to be that strict on categories. I think there's also like, I don't mind if you're like, oh, this thing is 2 of these things, but I'm going to put it in one. I think that's totally fine. I think we can be flexible. Yeah. So,
lots of these things will be multiple, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. So we can just kind of, you can jam as you like. Like, for example, if there are 3 remakes that you really want, then hey, you can take one of them in free pick instead, right?
Yeah. And we're going to go through all the categories once.
Yep.
And then pick our second game once we've been through all the categories once, so that we're not. It's all even.
Exactly, yeah. And I think maybe I don't know. Do you have a coin on you, Bally? Does anyone have a coin on them? I'm trying to look at my wallet.
Anyone?
Does anyone have? I have a coin. I have a pound coin.
You have a pound coin. Okay.
So we'll flip a coin, and basically, this is to go first. So whoever goes first obviously gets the first pick. But then we'll do a bit of a snake thing at the beginning. So the second person gets 2 back to back, and then we'll just go back to regular. Just because obviously the very first pick is going to be the one where you can get whatever you want. So. Bally, heads or tails?
I'll go heads.
All right. And it is heads. So, Bally, you get to go first. You get the first pick.
Let's do this. Action adventure, Breath of the Wild.
Wow, okay. Just going for the throat straight away.
There we go.
Yeah, I mean, is any version of a Nintendo Switch console complete without Breath of the Wild? I don't think so. I think it is... it's the one... we didn't discuss this, actually. How do we feel about, like... multiples in a thing, like is Tears of the Kingdom still on the table, or does Breath of the Wild eliminate it as an option?
Yeah, the multiple. Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom is here.
All right. Okay. All right.
It's here.
Cool. Okay. So Breath of the Wild, I think, is a strong start. I think it says to most people, I would buy this. Yeah, I think it's like it's kind of a bit of a cheat code, if I'm honest, but I think I respect the hustle. Okay, so I got a few options here. I'm going to take Metroidvania, and I'm actually going to I'm going to swerve, Bally. You're going to expect me to go in one direction. I'm going to swerve because I know the audience and I know what those sickos are like. All right. My first pick
I feel like the weebs are ganging up on me here, but let's
go.
The weebs
are, yeah. But my pick for Metroidvania is Hollow Knight. It's my first pick. I'm going to take Hollow Knight in Metroidvania. There's a lot of smoke on the street right now about Silk Song. Is it going to be here? Is it not? By the time that you're hearing this, maybe we
might have talked about it in the first segment.
We might have already talked about it, so who knows? But there's smoke on the street. Look, there's ratings boards. There's this guy out there on the internet, and he... I think he works for Team Cherry or does like PR stuff with them. And he said like last year that it was like, oh, we really wanted to do something this year, but it just didn't happen. So like, this is the year, right? Like everyone says it every single year, ever since like that Edge cover came out. I remember that January of like 2022 when there was an Edge cover of Hollow Knight and everyone's like, well, it must be happening now. And we're 2 years removed from that. And it's like, well, it hasn't happened yet. So, but it's got to be, right? This is the year for Silk Song.
I think so. I think so.
And to change everybody's worlds, to frankly make it so that next time we do this, if we ever do it again, that Silk Song is my first pick as opposed to Hollow Knight.
There we go.
It's
your pick again.
It is, yeah. So I am going to... I'm just going to take a bona fide... I have to just get it in there before Bally takes it because he knows my heart. So I'm going to go roguelike and I'm going to take Hades. I'm just going to take Hades just to secure it, just to guarantee it, because I think that, as a game, I think that speaks to a broad audience. I think a lot of people played Hades. I think it's their first roguelike for a lot of people. And I think most people are going to look at that and say, if a console has Hades and Hollow Knight, that's pretty solid, man. It's a pretty solid console already.
Pretty strong combo.
Two of the biggest names out there in the history of video games.
See, when you said Hades, I was like, oh, I need to pick my roguelike now. But I don't actually, because you're not allowed to pick another roguelike until the end of the first
That's true.
Run. So
yes,
it takes a bit of pressure
true.
off that category.
A little bit, yeah.
So I'm going to go... It's the same with Metroidvania, to be honest. I'm going to go platformer, and we're going to go for Mario Odyssey.
Okay, I really did leave the goal open there, I have to say, because I think now that you have Breath of the Wild and Odyssey, look, I'm going for
one of us has indies, one of us has Nintendo
the big
games,
AAA things that most people will vote for. I'm figuring out my mistakes I'm making here. Of course, absolutely. Mario Odyssey is, I don't know, do you think if you asked like a poll of people what the best Mario game is, like, where does Odyssey rank? Is it number one for a lot of people these days?
I think consistently it will get top 2 with 64 would be my bet.
Ooh, okay.
I think people have come around that Odyssey is a stronger game than Galaxy.
Yeah, I would.
That's my bet. And I do agree that 64 stands the test of time, both in people's minds, but even having played it in the last couple of years, it holds up. Like, it's a very good game.
It holds up really well.
And people love that game. So I do think It's between those two. I couldn't call it between the two, I don't think.
Yeah, I think for me, actually having replayed Galaxy recently, right? Galaxy, I think for both of us, kind of went down in our estimation slightly, right? Like
definitely, yeah.
It's still a really good game, but I think part of the magic of Galaxy was like seeing the gravitation for the first time, and once you know that trick, it becomes a little less effective. I do think, and this requires a replay, of course, but I need to replay Galaxy 2, and God, maybe Nintendo would give it to us one day in form of some kind of remaster.
I mean, we know that game handles like Galaxy 1. It's just more worlds, more abilities.
Feels more creative as well.
More creative, yeah.
You got Yoshi in there with his fucking spicy chili stuff where he's running around. Like, that stuff is really fun. So I think, I don't know, I would maybe still take Galaxy 2, but that's nostalgia speaking more so than anything, as opposed to Odyssey. I know I like to rag on Odyssey every now and again on this show. It's a fucking great game. It's really good. And yeah, there's a magic to that, which is great. Yes, I'm interested to see if they'll surpass it if we get a follow up of some kind, which I'm sure we will. We'll get another 3D Mario, and then that's the one that I'll take next time. Okay, cool. So my next pick, some good ones here. So okay, here's where we're gonna just straddle a bit of a line. Okay, I am gonna go for remake, remaster, port. I'm going to take something that Bally has been an evangelist for instead of him. I'm going to take Metro Prime Remastered in remake, remaster, port. Because first of all, I know the audience, they're sickos, but also I'm a new man, all right? I have gone through the fire and the flames. I played that video game. It's very good. It's still flawed, of course, but it's still an all-timer. I also think that we are in an era of GameCube nostalgia, more so now than ever, right? We're at that point where the people who grew up with the Cube, they have money to spend. I mean, look at me, Bally. I'm about to go to Japan. What's the number one thing on my list to buy? A fucking Panasonic Q, all right? You know the sickos like me exist out there, all right? People are repping Doshin the Giant t-shirts, you know? So
do you have a budget for your Panasonic Q?
I don't. No, I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. If it's like $300, I'll be like, yeah, sure, that's a price.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. I just think it would be fun to watch the Lord of the Rings extended edition on a Panasonic Q. Okay, that's all I want. All right. So yeah. Yeah, I'm going to take Metro Prime Remastered. I think that kind of distinguishes it as a remaster as well, like in the eyes of people, is it's a very good remaster. It obviously doesn't change anything. I think this is the case with a lot of Nintendo's remasters, remakes, is that design-wise they stay very similar. I think it's testament to Prime that you don't need to change that much of its design to still have it impact in this day and age, but just make it a lot prettier and make it run smooth, and that pretty much does it. So I think it's a very good one of those. So
nice.
I'm taking Metro Prime Remastered.
I think I'm going to go on over to multiplayer.
Okay.
And we're going to go Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Oh, fuck. God damn. I'm really fucking this up, aren't I? You have Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, and Smash. Oh, here I am.
I don't know. I just think that, like, smart. It's got mainstream, widespread appeal, hopefully amongst the community.
Yeah.
And I think multiplayer games on Switch are maybe a category in this game where it drops off quite severely. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we'll see.
No, there's a few bangers. There's definitely a few bangers.
Yeah.
But it's hard. I think there are some interesting picks you could make as well. Some under the radar picks you could make.
Definitely.
I will say that, in terms of multiplayer, Smash Online, we haven't done it in a very long time.
It never lets us down.
I don't know. Like, sometimes it has those hiccups, right? And I still think it's better than it ever was. It's better than it was in, obviously, the Wii days. The Wii U days were even a little bit on ice sometimes, but it's definitely better than it ever was. But it's not still perfect, and that's the case with most Nintendo Online games anyway. But the thing is, multiplayer applies to both local and online. And I mean, locally, like, there's nothing better. Really, there's nothing better than Smash Ultimate. So I respect the hustle. Yeah. See, this is the thing about it. Okay, so people who are going to vote, there'll be some people on Twitter who will be like, just look at the list, and they'll be like, oh, okay. That one has more famous games that I like. So I don't know. Maybe I'm screwing myself here.
But look, I believe,
I believe in the heart of the listeners that they want a soulful console, right? And there is nothing more soulful than selling out, which is why I'm going to go multiplayer next, and I'm going to take fucking Mario Kart 8 Deluxe because I can't let this continue. I can't let this continue. Okay.
But I can't make another pick until my roster is full.
It's very true, but you could in the first round of the next one go for multiplayer and take Mario Kart 8. So I think I'm just going to take it off the board. I'm just going to completely remove it from the board, so it's not possible for you to take it anymore. Here's the thing, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I actually am much more in favor of than the original Mario Kart 8. It's actually a legitimately better game, not only because it has better battle mode stuff, which obviously you don't care about, but most people do out there, the smart people. But also, they just fixed the item balancing. Like, the item balancing was super messed up in the original. You now have 2 items. I think it balances it out really nicely. And I don't know. I found my groove with 8 Deluxe. And obviously, all the DLC, it's like one of the biggest games Nintendo's ever made in terms of pure amount of levels, right? Just like courses you can do is crazy with all that. So, but all that bundled together, I think, is it's a pretty great package for people. So. And people will be playing it for years to come. I don't know what they're going to do with the next one, but this one's it's pretty much a bona fide hit. I think it sold. Is it past 60 million yet? I don't think it's past 60 million, but it's getting close, which is terrifying because that's like, I think it's at least 40% of the Switch user base owns Mario Kart 8. Like, attach rates like that don't exist anymore except for Nintendo. So yeah, it's startling, but. Mario Kart 8, I think, is pretty solid, so I'm going to take that. I'm going to snipe it.
Okay.
Multiplayer. Bally, back to you.
God, my laptop is like taking off right now. If you can hear.
Oh no, okay.
But
it's all right. I will be your laptop tomorrow as I fly. I will have it there to give us some lift as we leave.
Where shall we go? Let's go a bit fruitier.
Okay, here we go.
And we're going to go narrative driven.
Okay.
And go for Bally Classic, Night in the Woods.
Yeah. I thought that was going to happen. I would have liked to take that, but it's a pretty solid choice. I mean, if you think narrative driven, I think that's probably the first game that comes to mind for me when it comes to the Switch, especially. Like, God, I still sometimes just think about that moment in the museum with the poem. You come downstairs and it's like, holy shit, like the fucking writing in this game just like level. Pops out and like punches you across the face. It's really extraordinary stuff. So yeah, I get it. I feel it. It's also interesting.
So far you've got Hollow Knight, Metroid Prime Remastered, Hades, and Mario Kart 8.
That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that.
It's not bad.
Not bad. Okay, so let's go to my sacred ground. Let's go RPG. Now, there's a couple of options here. I think I'm actually going to go with a more well-rounded pick. I'm going to take Dragon Quest XI-S Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition for the Nintendo Switch, because Dragon Quest, if we think RPG, there is nothing more quintessential than Dragon Quest when it comes to RPGs. It is the originator of the Japanese kind of fork of the genre. It has been consistent for 30 years. It has a grand association with Nintendo. This one is one of the best ones in the series. It runs like a dream on Switch and also has the 2D mode. I think it was also the first game ever announced for the NX, lest we not forget. So I think I'm just going to go for a bona fide, like, no one can get mad at it. No one can be annoyed that Dragon Quest XI-S is on the list. And I think it causes great joy in people's hearts. So I'm going to go for Dragon Quest XI-S. It's a really good game. If I was to recommend a Dragon Quest, I would probably say this is the one you should play. It is very long. It is still a 50-hour game, which I appreciate is, it's an investment. But I would say, for an RPG, that's not too bad, actually. These days, especially. So, especially with the stuff we've been having lately, it's actually, it's kind of limber. So, yeah, Dragon Quest XI-S, I'm going to take that for RPG.
going to quote you at the start of this, where you were like,
Okay.
"Yeah, I'm going to be pretty easy on definitions."
Okay, all right, here we go. Here we go.
I'm going to go
on.
puzzle game,
All right, here. Okay, yep.
and I'm going to go for tunic.
Oh, you know, here's the fucked up thing, Bally. Here's the fucked up thing. You're kind of right. You're like, there is an argument because there was partway through that game, like the third boss, I just turned off damage. Like I just did invincible because I wasn't enjoying the combat anymore. I was like, I just want to do the puzzles because this is the puzzle stuff that I like. So yeah, it's stretching it. I would say it's like I would call it like half puzzle game, half adventure game. So in a way in which, like, if you were to say like Dead Cells, for example, is half Metroidvania, half roguelike, I think I can live with it. I can live with it.
It's got roguish elements as well, tunic.
It does. But yeah, I think I can deal with that. If only for the fact.
The reason I've gone for that is I do think the puzzle category is considerably weaker than a lot of these other categories.
I don't know. I've got some things.
Okay.
That
For
I'm
me,
thinking
I
about.
think it is. I don't know.
Yeah. There's some things I'm thinking about, but yeah. I allow this mainly because Tunic has the best puzzle in any game I've ever played. So I think if that's the case, then you can be classified as a puzzle game.
Exactly.
So, all right. I'll live with it. I was thinking you might take that in action adventure, so I was like, oh, skirting close to the line here. But
I can't if I did that. I'd have to wait because I've.
That's
got
true.
that as
Yes,
well.
you're right. Yeah, you could leave the door open.
That's
very
the
true.
thing,
Very
yeah.
true. Very true. Okay. No, I like Tunic. It's good pick.
I'm worried I've got the hop on you with this system. Have we done
Yeah,
this?
no. It's all
We'll
good. It's
see.
all good. I'm coming back strong. I've got some
Okay.
out of nowhere picks that are happening. Okay, so I'm just gonna. I think what's a good one that is gonna really screw.
There's only one
things
category neither
up.
of us have picked yet, and that's free pick.
Yes, that is true. Let me just double check the category because I've got some different ones written down in different places. Okay, so I haven't done I haven't done platformer yet.
No.
I think I'm gonna wait on it because I can wait because there's no threat of you taking it. So I'm gonna wait for a little bit.
Unless I pick it in free pick.
Oh, fuck me, you're right, shit. Okay. Oh, no, don't do this to me, you motherfucker. Okay. All right, I'm just going to do it then. You fucking scared me now. Okay, platformer, I'm going to take Celeste. I'm taking Celeste. I can't leave that on the table. Yeah. I'm going for the hip approach, Bally, here. Taking the three of the indiest darlings that have ever darlinged on Nintendo Switch. Celeste is also like pure association with the Switch for me because it was announced, I think, during an Indie World or released during one. It had a shadow drop or something. And I saw that 10 out of 10 IGN review and I was like, well, I'm buying that. And then proceeded to spend an entire month playing it, which included a bus ride every day for an hour where I played that one seaside like non-stop. So it is like the handheld nature of Celeste on Switch. I think it's just so associated with it. And I think it works perfectly because it is such a one more go type of game, right? You're just like, I'm just gonna sit here with something on TV in the background and just go again and again and again and bang my head against this wall, but have a great time doing it the whole time.
Did you ever try that N64 mini
did
version they made?
Yes, I downloaded it and I tried it. You can tell it's a game jam made in a week type of game because there is definitely some issues with like landing properly in shadows and perspective. I enjoyed what I played, but yeah, I didn't get all the way through it or anything. I would like to try and load it up on a Steam Deck at some point and play that, but it was really cool. I think it's really cool that they did that and they made a N64 version of Celeste. I think it's what everyone's screaming at Yacht Club to do. It's like, make Shovel Knight 64, but clearly they're not going in that direction. So, but yeah, that was cool. I definitely should get back to it at some point. But yeah, it was hard though. It was very difficult in terms of some of the like they had challenge rooms as well in it, and I was like, man, they did not pull punches on this. They want people to go for it. So yeah, all right, I'm taking Celeste platformer.
Okay, I'm gonna go Metroidvania.
Okay,
and I think I'm gonna go for Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Okay, all right, yep. I see it.
It's my favorite.
It is your favorite. Is it the audience's favorite? You could say, there's some.
Do
some
more
other
people
options out
like
there.
Hollow Knight or Ori out there? I think Hollow Knight might win.
I think Hollow Knight. I think Hollow Knight. Yeah.
But I think our audience are not the internet.
It's true.
So I'm confident.
Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. Right. What have I not taken yet? I haven't taken narrative.
You said you've got a bunch of amazing puzzle games lined up.
Yeah, I do. I have loads of amazing puzzle games. Okay, I'm gonna go puzzle, and I'm gonna go with one that I think is a pretty big crowd pleaser, and you might not think of it. I'm gonna take for puzzle Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker.
That's a great shout.
Yeah. I think it's one of those that, we played it on Wii U, so we didn't buy it again on Switch. But it's such a really nice, something about dioramas, dioramas have such a cool vibe to them, and a whole game that is kind of built around perspective dioramas and, hiding things around corners, and there is no jump, right? You can't classify it as a platformer because it is a exploration-y, find the secrets, timing based challenges, getting on lifts, cloning yourself, all these little fun mechanics, and there's a little bit of action to it. There's that boss where you're running around and there's the lava beast in the middle and you're hiding behind the walls and stuff like that, so it has a little bit more to it than I would say your traditional puzzle game does. But I think it is it's probably the best first party Nintendo puzzle game that's on the table. So I'm going to take that one. I think that's it's a bit of a crowd pleaser. I think people don't think about it, but I think it's a crowd pleaser. So.
I don't know which podcast it was, but they were saying how Nintendo just need to take more of their characters and give them spin-off games.
Yes,
Peach Showtime is a great example,
right?
But just more like that, but obviously higher quality. And Captain Toad, Luigi's Mansion, they're both great examples. Let's just take a character and do something wild with them, and
exactly
need more of that. Talking of Luigi's Mansion,
okay,
I'm gonna stick it in my free pick to try and.
Oh God fucking damn it! I thought I could get Luigi somewhere in here, but
mess things up a bit.
Yeah.
I know that we are pretty evangelical about Luigi's Mansion 3, but anyone who's played that game knows that there's a level of quality and creativity and new ideas thrown at you that is impeccable with that game. It's impeccable. It's Mario Odyssey levels of creativity and originality constantly thrown at you, and it's not a platformer. It's no. It is what it is.
I would have put it under action adventure personally if I was to pick it.
Me too.
Is where I would have taken it, but yeah, it's pretty solid.
That's an incredible game. So I thought I'd just stick it in there before you took it as your action adventure.
Yeah, I was going to do that. I was actually going to do that next. So that's you definitely picked me to the punch there. I would love to replay Luigi's Mansion 3 at some point. I think it's one of those that I've forgotten enough about it by this point that I could still be surprised, I think, by some stuff.
Next Level Games were working on the football game, so
yeah, they
Luigi's Mansion 5 or 4, I should say, is kind of far away, but that'd be a great Switch 2 game for sure.
They're not working on what they should be working on, as we all know, which is Metro Prime Federation Force 2. Seeing as we can't play the original anymore.
How do you know they're not working on that?
Weirder things have happened. I think we would be two of the only people in the universe who would be happy about that decision. But
it's your second multiplayer pick.
It is, yeah, of course. Yeah, the port of Federation Force that we all know came to Nintendo Switch. It's a phenomenal game, Luigi's Mansion 3. So I think it makes sense. I'm going to take my free pick. I'm going to go for a sicko choice. I'm going to go for a sicko choice that will get me brownie points with the audience, Bally. I'm going to take Persona 5 Royal as my free pick.
I forgot that when it came to Switch.
Now, if you think about a video game that everyone can agree is fucking fantastic, it's Persona 5. And yeah, all I've heard is that the Switch version is excellent, and I played Golden, 4 Golden for the first time on a Vita, and that is the way to play a Persona game. I think the reason I haven't played as much Persona 3 as I probably would have liked to at this point is because it's tied to a PC as opposed to something I have handheld. And yeah, it really is just the ideal series to take with you and just crash through a bunch of days and do some socializing and level up in the dungeons. And yeah, I mean, just a game that has more style than style itself. You turn on that thing and you just sit on the main menu and you're like, true gods made this, right? Like, we are mere mortals compared to the people who did the UI design for the Persona series. They are living on another level to us. So yeah, I'm going to take that there. And yeah, it gives me a bit more wiggle room, I think, for the RPG category, because I think Persona 5 Royal is pretty much a lock on any good list. So yeah, okay. I'm taking it.
I'm going to go down the RPG route now.
Okay, all right.
There's the obvious pick of my favorite JRPG of all time.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I'm not sure how much our audience likes that game, though.
Look, there's a big thread. Lots of people talk about it. Yeah,
there is a big thread of people playing it and love it.
Yeah.
But are there other JRPGs that people love more?
No, there aren't. Yeah, that's the best one. Yeah,
see, I think that
Sea of Stars is pretty good. People like Sea of Stars.
I should probably veer towards an MBZ pick for RPG.
Don't you fucking dare.
And I think it has to be Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
I fucking hate you. Why? I thought I could just.
Well, why did you not pick it then?
Well, because I thought, I just thought, Bally, you're just going to go for things that you like. That's what you usually do.
Up until now, I 100% have.
Yeah.
But I think I just need a little bit of. Bally, put your own personal picks to the side for 1 minute and get something that's a bit of a fan favorite.
Okay.
And you've just picked a fan favorite in Persona 5 Royal, so I felt I have to meet fire with fire. So
okay, all right.
That's my logic.
That is a harsh blow, and it does wound me deeply.
You're welcome to pick Octopath Traveler 2 if you want.
I don't think it's good enough. So I'm not going to. Oh god!
Well,
also, I just realised that in Puzzle you put Capitan Todd under Puzzle, which is a niche NeoGAF reference that I think maybe only 12 people in the world will understand, but I do appreciate that greatly. So that's good. Okay, all right. I lose some weeb points for not getting Xenoblade Chronicles 3, so let's regain some weeb points. I'm going to go narrative driven.
It wasn't going to be action adventure, was it?
No, I'm going to take 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. I'm going to take a sicko game. I know this is a little risky. This is a little risky because, people on Twitter will be like, what's that? That sounds shit. Look, 13 Sentinels, the people, if you know, you know, and a lot of people do know. It's just a really interesting narrative game. The way that it is built, the way that you can play it, and you choose whatever order you do the character stories in, and no matter where you start, no matter who you begin with, you will always be able to put things together and figure out how these disparate narrative pieces kind of fit. And the way that it takes places over different time periods, and there's technology that gets involved and weird sci-fi futurism, and I think it's just an exceptionally well-crafted narrative, and it has that fun kind of strategy stuff as well, gameplay-wise. But I think 13 Sentinels is it's a winner when it comes to narrative-driven stuff. If I don't think about Night in the Woods, I think about stuff like 13 Sentinels when it comes to narrative-driven. So, yeah,
nice.
I'll take that narrative-driven. Bala, you got 2 categories left for this round: remake and roguelike.
Yeah.
So, which
I'm
one are you
going to
go
go roguelike, and there's a lot of hot roguelikes.
There's a lot. It's a good category. You can make the right choice.
Is there anything hotter?
Oh boy.
Than Ballistro?
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Now this is the thing, right? It's very recent. Some people know about it. I don't know how many
is.
people know about it, so we'll see. We'll see. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good choice. I wouldn't have picked it, just because it's conflict of interest, of course. But you're free to.
Didn't stop you with your fantasy critic.
No, it didn't. It certainly fucking did not. So oh my
if
god!
You're allowed on fantasy critic. I'm putting it here.
Oh my god! When I took that in my fantasy critic this year, I was like, these motherfuckers have no idea. These motherfuckers have no idea. So that was exciting. That was good. Okay. So I have action adventure to take. I think I should just do it because otherwise I will look weak by comparison. I'm going to take Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I'm just going to take it. I'm going to take it because I think it rounds out my list nicely. I think it gives me a bit more of a rounded list. And hey, is it the best Zelda game? No, it isn't. But it's a very good one. It's very, very good. And most people out there, they think it's the best. So, I'll take it. All right, Bal, you've got remake, remaster, port.
Remake, remaster, port. I think I'm going to have to go for a favorite.
Okay.
But I think a lot of people have a lot of respect for this game.
Yeah.
It's not just me. And that game is DK Tropical Freeze.
Oh shit, I didn't even think about that. Fuck, that's good. Oh man, that gives you a lot of, that's really.
I've got Nintendo juice coming out.
I'll be honest, Bally, I'm feeling very terrified right now. Just looking at your list versus mine. It's not going the way that I thought. It's not going great, but hey, look, there's ways to recover.
We're only halfway.
Okay.
We're only halfway.
Okay,
MBZ.
so we're halfway through.
Come on.
Bally, should we go through each individual list so far? From the top.
Let's go.
So my list so far: Dragon Quest XI, Hollow Knight, Celeste, Capitan Todd, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, Metroid Prime Remastered, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Hades, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and Persona 5 Royal. Reading it back, I feel okay, actually. I feel alright.
You're doing fine.
Yeah, okay. Bally, you'll go.
My list is Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Mario Odyssey, Tunic, Night in the Woods, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Balatro, Smash Brothers Ultimate, and Luigi's Mansion 3.
Okay, it's good stuff. So we roll into the next round, which I think is my pick now, because you just had the last one. So I think that there's... God, what is there, though? What is there that I can take that is obvious that I really don't want to be taken? I am going to go Metroidvania. I'm going to take Metroid Dread. I'm just taking it off the table.
That's a good pick.
Because we've got to secure it. I think Hollow Knight plus Metroid Dread is a wombo combo 1-2 punch. And I think that does me well from a Metroidvania perspective. So I'm going to take it as my first one. I love that game, man. Fuck it. I need to replay it. I know I replay a bunch of other Metroid games, Fusion the most of all, but I have not replayed Dread yet. I feel like it's coming. A replay of Dread is coming my way sometime soon, so has to happen.
I'm gonna go RPG,
and
I'm gonna go for one of the biggest indies on the Nintendo Switch.
Yep,
Stardew Valley.
Wait a fucking sec. Wait a second. RPG Stardew Valley.
You don't think Stardew Valley's an RPG?
Okay. Oh man,
Farming Sim? Does that not count as an RPG?
I guess it does. I get I mean...
If you're going to give me Puzzle for Tunic, you have to let me have Stardew Valley RPG.
I guess. I mean, fuck. I thought that would be a free pick option as opposed to RPG.
I was about to do it as free pick, and then I thought I can be cheeky.
Yeah, I guess, if we think about RPG as a very broad category, then sure. I mean... Look, you can take it up with the audience, right? If we post this list and people are like, RPG Stardew Valley, what's that motherfucker on? Then it may, not work in your favor. So it's up to you. It's the choice of you and the gods, or should I say the audience.
Okay.
So we'll see how they respond, whether they respond kindly or not.
I think people will say, see, I like Stardew Valley. Bally has Stardew Valley. I'm going to vote for Bally's team. More so than people who say...
You're so right as well. People just look at the games
Stardew
and be
like,
not
an RPG.
I like that one. I played a lot of hours of it. I will choose that list. Yeah, that's... yeah. Well, if nothing else, you took away my clean sweep of the indie darlings of forever with taking Stardew Valley. So
I've got to get some indies in this list. Like, come on.
That's true. It's very true. Okay, so I've got some cool places I can go here. I think that's actually, one of these I could just sit on for a little bit because I don't think you're going to take it. But it's a dangerous game. So I'm going to go for something a bit more guaranteed. I'm going to go multiplayer. I'm taking Splatoon 3. I'm taking Splatoon 3 in multiplayer. I think that is a pretty solid lock in terms of, hey, this is the peak of the series. It has all the modes you like. There's no more bullshit like kind of sanctioning off Salmon Run. It also has, it's not counted in the categories as multiplayer, but it also has the best single player of any Splatoon game. And I like it a lot. It's good fun. I always think about like, I should play some more Splatoon 3. It's always one of those of like, yeah, I should just boot up the Switch, play some Splatoon 3, have a few matches. Because it's so easy to jump into. I do think it's a really accessible multiplayer game. A lot of people love it. So I'm going to take that as my multiplayer pick for this round.
I'm going to stay with the big indies.
Okay.
Was this game kind of second party? I can't remember, but
I don't know.
We're going to go platformer.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to go Cuphead.
Oh, another like
bending of the rules.
Another like. I mean, yes, there's platforming. Is the platforming the worst part of the game? Yes, it is, but it's in there. So I don't know. I think that is legit because when you think about
it, doesn't actually
Cuphead,
fit in another category. Is another issue.
No,
with this one.
but like when you get down to the essence of Cuphead. Most of Cuphead is jumping out the way of things, which is platforming, right? Like those boss fights really are platforming boss fights for the most part because they are about jumping.
You are jumping
dashing.
And positioning is important. Therefore,
it's very important.
Platforming. You're jumping on platforms and
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I think so. I think like the act of jumping is crucial to your survival in that game to the point where, yes, it is a shooter, run and gun shooter, but the thing you're doing the most is maneuvering and making sure you don't die because you can die very easily. So yeah, I think that's actually more legit. It's definitely more legit than Stardew Valley as an RPG, but we'll keep it going. Yeah, I didn't even think about Cuphead. Man, it's a good pick. It's a solid pick. Very, very good choice. Okay, I think I'm gonna play to the audience's like. I'm just going to scan here and I'm going to look for things I recognize. And also, I think this is a game that other people like a lot more than we do. I'm going to go for platformer and I'm going to take Kirby and the Forgotten Land for platformer.
Okay, yeah.
Because I think that most people out there are like, oh, God, I love that game. That's the best Kirby game, and a lot of people had a really good time with it. I still think it's great. I think it's really good fun and creative and interesting. And yeah, I think it's a solid pick. I think a lot of people like Kirby, so
okay.
Kirby is people's
again.
friend.
You went for a category that you were not racing me on because I had filled up my platformer quota.
Oh, that's
I guess I could have free picked anything.
God, you are so right. You are so right. That was a terrible move.
You're not fighting the right fights.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
So I'm going to go roguelike. And I'm going to go for Slay the Spire.
No! Fuck you! You piece of shit! You have Balatro, you don't need another card-based roguelike? Oh my, Bally, I can't believe this shit. I deliberately didn't take it last time because I was like, he has Balatro. That's a card-based roguelike. He's not going to take Slay the Spire as well. That would make his list less diverse. It would make his list less interesting, less diverse. But no, you're going to fucking take both.
People love cards. People just love cards.
God, I hate that. I can't believe I let you get Slay the Spire. And all I got was fucking Kirby. All I got was Kirby, alright?
I wasn't even able to pick because I've picked two platformers, unless I picked Kirby as my free pick. But yeah.
Right. Well, that sucks. Okay. Well, what I'm not going to do now is choose a roguelike because that'd be stupid because then I can just give Bally an option. God damn it. Okay.
If you don't pick the roguelike, I might take it in my free pick.
Right, Bally, okay? I'm about to fuck you up in a way you don't even realize, okay? I'm about to fuck you up so bad, you're never going to see it coming, all right?
All right.
Action adventure.
Yeah.
I am picking a game neither of us have played. A game we don't give a shit about. But you know what? People give a shit about it. Action adventure, Monster Hunter fucking Rise. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Holy shit. Now that is going to get me brownie points up the wazoo. So yeah, I think that's a pretty strong pick. I'd love to get into a Monster Hunter game one day. I think it'd be healthy for us. It'd be good. It's definitely difficult, but I think we can do it and we can make it through. But if I know anything about people, especially our audience, people fucking love Monster Hunter. They like it more than most things. So I'm gonna take Monster Hunter Rise.
No, that's true.
Adventure.
That is true.
Yeah. Yep.
That was a good pick.
Yep. Your turn, Bally.
I think I'm gonna go remake remaster.
Okay.
And we're gonna go for a very good remake, I think a lot of people really liked it as well, and that game is Link's Awakening.
Nice. Okay, it's solid. It's a little bit of a couple of Zelda games in there, just maybe diluting a little. But it's a different type of Zelda.
Yeah, people like Zelda.
Oh fuck, you're right. They do. They're just gonna see the name Link and they'll be like, "Oh, I like him. He's cool." Yeah, no, it's good. I do think it's...
Maybe they'd better be getting negative points for down-talking our audience, just giving them these voices and all this sort of thing. Like,
Look,
I believe in our audience, unlike MBZ.
It's a competition, right? It's
team.
A competition. It's very, very important. Winning is the most important thing. Okay, yeah. No, I think Link's Awakening is a solid choice as a remake remaster. I think, though... So I'm not going to do that. Every time that you do it, I'm like, I should do the same thing. I should do the same category. No, I have to fight my urge. I have to do something different, okay?
I'm not going to pick another remake remaster unless I...
No. I am instead, I'm going to go narrative driven, and I'm going to be a hip motherfucker, all right? Another one you ain't going to see coming, all right? Ghost Trick. Fucking Ghost Trick. Now tell me that anybody in the internet would not look at a list with Ghost Trick on it and be like, well, I've got to be cool. I've got to pick a game that the cool people like. Ghost Trick is cool people. And there are a lot of cool people out there, all right? It's great. Now here's the thing, on the down low, everybody. I think Ghost Trick's okay. I don't think it's like the second coming of Christ, but everybody else does. So, I bow to the people. And Ghost Trick is my second pick on narrative driven. So
okay,
yeah,
right. I've got some options. Where are we at?
So you've got Metroidvania, puzzle, narrative, action adventure, multiplayer, and free pick remaining.
Yeah. Are there any categories I've not done that you've? I guess free pick is open.
Free pick is open. Yeah,
that's the only one that's like
puzzle's the only other one you can pit me on.
Oh, puzzle, yeah.
Yeah.
You've got a much deeper pit of puzzle games, apparently. So
Well, yeah. Depends what your definition
I think
of puzzle game
games are so subjective, arguably more than any other.
Hey man,
category.
if you think Stardew Valley is an RPG, I can have some interesting picks for puzzle. So hey, you got Tunic as a puzzle game, so
I do. Ooh. Okay. Let's stop messing around. Let's think
let's
logically.
stop fucking up. Yep.
We're gonna go multiplayer.
Okay.
People still like this game.
Yeah.
Don't know if you'll let me have it, but I'm gonna try anyway.
All right.
People like Overwatch.
They do, yeah. I mean, it's a multiplayer game on Switch. It has to be Overwatch 2. Overwatch doesn't exist anymore. So it has to be Overwatch 2, I'm afraid.
There we go.
Yeah, you can take it, Bally. Now, here's the thing. If you don't know about the internet fucking hates Overwatch 2. So might not work in your favor. I'm just saying. People fucking hate that game. So,
that's fair. I'm much more rose tinted on that game than the world, it seems. But
hey, look, I love it. Like I still play it like close to every week. I always hop in and play. What's fucked up, Ali, is they just announced the Mythic skin. So the Mythic skin is the one you get at the end of the battle pass after spending like 40 hours grinding the battle pass.
Yeah.
And hey, guess who's my favorite character in that game? Fucking Mercy. Guess what the Mythic skin is for when I'm going to Japan? It's fucking Mercy. I hate you, Overwatch. Why would you do this to me? Why? Like the one time I would want to grind a battle pass to get Mythic Mercy skin, and here I am not being able to. So it's a shame. It's a crying shame. Okay. In that case, I will go for puzzle, And I'm going to go again for a wide mainstream smart pick. I'm going to go for Tetris Effect Connected is what I'm going to go for. I've been playing a lot of Tetris these days, Bally. A lot of Tetris on the train on, the Game Boy version of Tetris on my Ambernick. Hey, turns out Tetris, it's a good video game. Turns out. I like it. All I've heard is that Tetris Effect Connected is like the best version of Tetris that's ever existed, probably. So, if you're going to go puzzle, I mean, what is more synonymous with puzzle than Tetris? So we're going to take that. I think that's pretty solid.
Okay.
Back to you, Bally.
Right. Let's just throw in like some more popular Nintendo picks.
Okay. All right. I see.
Because we are a Nintendo podcast.
Of course.
Oh God, I've got Metroidvania as well to fill in.
You do, yeah. Which might be a little tricky. I mean, it's
not tricky. Those are like a big three we've put there.
That's why I took Metroid Dread as my first pick of this round, because I'm like, there's not that much else actually, like in terms of major stuff. So, yeah. Unless you want to double up on Ori, you could go Ori 1, Ori 2, back to back. I wouldn't be above that, frankly.
I'm gonna play with my genres, and we're gonna go Metroidvania, and I'm gonna argue this game comes into that category.
Oh boy,
that's Dead Cells.
I allow it. I do allow it. Yeah. God. Yeah. But fuck you, because I was going to take roguelike. God fucking damn it. Hey, Bally, person who is not as into roguelikes as me, somehow has 3 roguelikes and I have 1. So it's going well. It's going well so far. Yeah. No. I see it. And much as it does pain me, I think that's that makes sense. It is a Metroidvania roguelike, so that's its identity. Okay. All right, so I actually have some cool options I could go for, but I think I am going to go for a remake remaster, and I'm actually going to lock in something to give me a little bit of my respectability back. I'm going to take Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. I'm going to take the original, the first game, Definitive Edition, which is, I think, a really good version because it also adds in the Future Connected DLC. That's what it's called. Future Redeemed is the Xenoblade 3 DLC. But Xenoblade.
These naming conventions are messed up.
Look, Bally. Okay, if you live in the world, then you know the world. So, as RPG fans, look. Okay,
if you live in the world, you know the world.
We have messed up naming conventions. All right, just look at Kingdom Hearts for like half a second, and you'll have an aneurysm. So yeah. I'm going to take Xenoblade Definitive, which I think, at the end of the day, more people might like than 3. I don't know. I actually don't know. I think more people probably do like 3. Actually, here's where we've both fucked up, Bally. The correct answer for this list is actually Xenoblade 2, because there are a lot of sickos out there, all right? A lot of sickos.
More popular than Xenoblade 3?
I think there are more fervent 2 sickos than there are 3 people. Yeah, okay. I do. I really do.
But do they listen to our podcast?
I think some of them do. I don't know if all of them. I feel like...
when we say listen to our podcast, this is going to be put out on Twitter and Discord.
Yeah, sure, yeah. So we could have some
that's where the poll resides. So
yeah, totally.
We shall see what happens, but yeah.
We'll see. All right. Okay, great. Is it me again? I think it's me. No? It's you. You
just picked Xenoblade. So
I just did, yeah, sorry. Yeah. Got a sieve of a memory.
Puzzle, narrative, or free pick?
Yeah. You got action adventure as well. Open.
Oh, do I?
Yeah, yes. You do. Yeah.
Wow. Oh God.
Yeah. What can you do? There's no more Zeldas left. As we all know, the only action adventure game. The Zelda series.
I think I'm gonna go puzzle.
Okay.
We're gonna go puzzle platformer. And I'm gonna go for Greece.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see that. That's cool. think
don't know
it's,
if anyone's heard of it, but
that's the thing. I think it might be a little outside
niche.
the scope for some people, but it's a solid pick. I respect it at the very least, so that's good. Okay, so I've got roguelike, free pick, and RPG left, and I think I've got some good options here. I'm going to go roguelike, and I'm going to take Vampire Survivors. I'm going to take Vampire Survivors as my roguelike. I was like, what are the other big roguelikes that people like? I was like, I love Into the Breach, and I think it is one of the best games ever made, but I don't think people do. I don't think people love Into the Breach. Spelunky's kind of a bit classic at this point in time. I think Vampire Survivors is fresh, it's hot, it's what people like. And it's approachable. Everyone can play Vampire Survivors.
And Balatro and Slay the Spire are taken, so
exactly, yeah. I mean, I can't take Slay the Spire or Dead Cells, which I might have taken Dead Cells. But you know what? I think Vampire Survivors gives me a more well-rounded list than if I'd had Hades and Dead Cells. Because I think your list, Balatro and Slay the Spire, it's a little bit homogenous.
Very much.
Got 2 Zelda games in there. It's a little homogenous. So,
right, action adventure. Oh, here we go.
Yep. Action adventure games. Everyone loves them.
I'm going to go for Pikmin 4.
Oh, shit. I guess it is. Yeah, I guess. I mean, where else does it fit? Probably free pick. It's no strategy category here, so. Yes. Fuck me. Fuck me
game.
Running, Bally.
It's a great game.
You've just left me an open goal. I've just realised the word strategy just activated neurons in my brain. We're going to go to RPG, and I'm going to claw back respectability because people are going to vote for my list because I'm putting Fire Emblem 3 Houses in RPG. Now put that in your pipe and smoke it. Yep. 3 Houses, a bona fide classic. Everybody loves it. You can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. I was gonna, here's the thing, we can say this now because there's no RPG slots left. I was gonna go Undertale. I think that would have maybe been because Undertale is like very popular among most people, and I think I would have fucked up there. But 3 Houses,
I mean, I can put it in my free pick.
That's true. You can take Undertale for your free pick, which might fuck me up now, but I don't know if you want to do that. There's some.
I'll give you Undertale. I'm gonna take narrative, and I'm gonna go for one of the best video game narratives, and just vibes and everything. And I think people will back me on this. And that's Spiritfarer.
Oh, that's a strong one. That is a strong one. Yeah, and I think pretty popular as well. I think a lot of people did play Spiritfarer.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people.
That's a good one.
A lot of people cried at Spiritfarer. So yeah, it's very strong.
Damn, Spiritfarer is a good game.
It's really good. They're making a battle royale, aren't they? They're making 33 Immortals. Lotus, which is definitely a different
as far
type
from
of game.
Spiritfarer as you can go, almost.
Yeah, like a roguelike raid game, almost. Which is very interesting. Okay, so we've got free. We both have free.
Both have a free pick.
And man, what hasn't been taken?
I don't even know what to put.
There must be like something like really big that hasn't been taken yet. And I mean, there's a couple of things I'm thinking. And there's a way to really round out this list that I think probably is the smart choice from a wide audience perspective. And neither of us have gone with it yet.
Okay.
I am going to take Animal Crossing New Horizons as my free pick.
Oh, that's a clever one.
I think that speaks to a lot of people. And I think it's a nice different taste to a lot of what I have as well. I think it doesn't,
because it's a Nintendo game.
Yeah, that's very true. Yep, it's a Nintendo game. But also, I don't really have you've got Stardew Valley at least, right? Which kind of speaks to that category a little bit. But I don't. So yeah.
I think the game I'm about to pick probably fits your list better than mine because it's not a Nintendo game.
Right? Yeah.
But it's a game we're very passionate about that the world seemed to have forgotten about. But I think enough listeners will be interested it will help my list a bit, and that game is Eastward.
Oh, okay. All right. It's definitely more of a TNL pick, I would say.
It is a TNL pick. But
a broad pick.
This is TNL listeners voting, and whoever else picks it up on Twitter. So
it's very true. Very true.
Wow.
All right. Well, there we go. We have the lists. Yeah, definitely. I can't fucking believe you took Slay the Spire. Why are you smoking? Why would you do that to me? I was going to lock it. I was going to do Hades and Slay the Spire and be like, well, I fucking own roguelikes. Yeah, I guess not. Guess not. Cool. So Bally, let's read out our lists. The 20 games that we have, and as mentioned, we'll put these over on Patreon for people to vote on, and you can take a look and decide who has the better list. But mine from the top: Dragon Quest XI-S, Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition for the Nintendo Switch, Hollow Knight, Celeste, Capitan Todd, 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, Metroid Prime Remastered, The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, Hades, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Persona 5 Royal, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Metroid Dread, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Tetris Effect Connected, Ghost Trick, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, Monster Hunter Rise, Vampire Survivors, Splatoon 3, and Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Right, and my list is Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Mario Odyssey, Tunic, Night in the Woods, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Balatro, Smash Bros. Ultimate, Luigi's Mansion 3, Stardew Valley, Dead Cells, Cuphead, Grease, Spiritfarer, Link's Awakening, Pikmin 4, Slay the Spire, Overwatch 2, and Eastward.
Pretty good. Pretty solid overall. I think...
That's a good 40 games.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I clawed back some Nintendo respectability in round 2, having been hammered a bit in round 1. I'm interested to see what people pick, honestly. I think there's some good options in both of these lists, and I'd be happy to own either of these consoles. But does your console have a name? Your mini Switch? Is there a thing you'll christen it with?
It's the Ballycom.
Ballycom, just like Funcom.
Just like Famicom.
Yes, yeah, of course, the Ballycom. Yes, yeah. Of course, yes.
What's your one called?
Oh God, what is my one called? Mine's called the fuck
NBZX Spectrum.
Oh, that's really good. That's really good. NBZX Spectrum's really good. I was gonna say just call it the fuck you Slay the Spy Machine. But yes, the NBZX Spectrum is I'll take that, man. Yeah, I like that a lot. Yes, we will. We'll post these. You can check them out and tell us what you think, and let us know what you thought. And maybe we can do this again with a different console at some point in time. But it's fun stuff. And that is pretty much going to do us for today's show. So thank you everybody for listening. You can of course find us across the internet in various places. Bally, we, however, would like to plug some people and some things on patreon.com/ThisNintendoLife, which is where you can go and support us and all that good stuff. Of course, you can go and find where the poll will be for voting for this here episode. And Bally would like to thank some folks.
Yes, we have some patrons to thank. Thank you to all of our $10 tier plus patrons. They are Zach S., Thomas, Matthew, Albert, Wicked Gamer, UK Allen, Turtle, Orange Thunder, and Ali T. Thank you all for your $10 tier plus support. But we also have a couple of new patrons. Thank you to Patrice M. and Daniel A. Thank you very much for your new patronage. But thank you also to all of our other patrons. We're really racking up the patrons. It's really appreciated. So thank you, everyone.
Absolutely. And if you want to hear some fun stuff from me, the $5 tier is getting some good stuff this summer. First with my GDC trip, and then when I get back to from Japan, I'll have a audio log on that as well. So be checking.
You just call that tier MBZ Abroad.
Pretty much. It's what
MBZ Travels.
Yeah, it's good fun. We'll be doing some more of that stuff. You can obviously find us on the internet. I am on social media stuff at LordNBZ. Bally, where can they find you?
I am at Ballyman91. That's BALLYMAN91.
Great. You can find the podcast at TNL Podcast for updates about what's happening, as well as probably a visualized version of this list. So if you go over there, you should see a screen grab of our beautiful Google Sheets here that breaks down our categories and our picks, so that you can vote on them. Get links to the YouTube channel and the Discord. Discord is a great place to go to hang out with fun people and argue with them about why my list was better than Bally's, of course. That's very important. So you should go over to Discord.
Valley is the best RPG of all time.
Exactly, yeah. Let's have some good discussion about why Stardew Valley is an RPG and Dead Cells is a Metroidvania and Tunic's a puzzle game, apparently. I mean, someone let that happen, so, you know. You can go and do that and have fun. Nice people over there who are all willing to have some good conversation. You can, of course, also email the show, which we didn't do this week, but we'll potentially do another time. Bally, where can they send their emails to?
please send your emails to thisnintendolife@gmail.com. That's thisnintendolife@gmail.com.
You can also find us all over the internet. We're on Spotify, we're on Stitcher. You can download us, you can rate us, review us on those platforms. Please do, so that more people can find the show and figure out if they want to listen to it. You know, Switch 2 is going to be coming at some point. You need to tell your friends about it. You need to tell, hey, you got Switch 2, listen to these fucking weirdos. They know a bit about Nintendo sometimes. Yeah, I think that would be very, very nice. So go ahead and do that. And I think that is going to do us for this episode, Bally. I have probably just over 24 hours before I'm out of the country. Don't know
Exciting times.
It is.
Exciting times.
So I'll come back and regale everybody with tales. But
look forward to
until then, thanks everybody for listening, and we will be back soon with some more podcasting, some more video games, and some more Nintendo. Bye bye.
The musical interlude used on today's show is Grassland Groove from Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, copyright Nintendo 2014. Because you have to have a bit of DK when MBZ is away.